again, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. This is going to be yet another segment of Mail Call where I can answer your questions face to face and nothing gets lost in translation, trading emails back and forth. Let's get right into this. I hate wasting your time. I hate wasting mine. Michael Jewell wants to know if Plumbers Putty can be put in place of a clay bar. He saw that somewhere in a YouTube video. How about that on a YouTube video? Plumbers Putty is very soft. It's a lot softer than the clay bar. It has no abrasives whatsoever, and it's just made to be a sealant for plumbers, to assist plumbers. A clay bar is much harder. It has 3 different types of abrasiveness, and it also is made of a resin. It's made to shear off, shave off bonded contaminants that are stuck to the surface of your paint. It also contains abrasives that will aid you in removing waxes, traffic film, old sealants, and a lot of other things that are bonded to your paint. So, not a good idea. The price is, there's a big enough difference in price that if it would be effective, Plumbers Putty, it would be something to think about at 14 ounces for $2.30 compared to, you normally have to buy clay now in a kit, and it's around $13 to $16. So, huge price difference, but the putty for the Plumbers Putty has no effectiveness whatsoever compared to a clay bar. So, okay, next, Matthew Stevens removed the vinyl stripe on his car and he's having trouble getting rid of the outline. He already tried 3000 grit. Depends on how long that vinyl stripe was on there. How old is the car? If the vinyl stripe's been on there since new and you're removing it a couple years later, you might be stuck with that because you got to remember the vinyl stripe was protecting the paint from UVA, UVB exposure. So the unprotected areas or the exposed area has been taking a beating from the sun, and it's been not only oxidized but discolored from the UVA, UVB damage. Where you remove the striping or the vinyl decal, and that's nice and fresh under there because it's been protected. I would try one more time at 2500 grit and compound out from there, but it may be that the damage is too deep and it's your base coat that is discolored from the UVA, UVB damage, and then that difference from when you remove the vinyl stripe is probably going to be a permanent thing you may have to get used to unless you want to strip the panel and repaint it. Okay, Ferric0243 wants to know about winter prep. He wants to protect his 2017 Jeep for winter months in Michigan. On a retail level. So, on a retail level, this is going to be easy. Seal and shine after you wash, clay, decontaminate, and if you could give it a quick exfoliation and polish it, seal and shine. And you can maintain that with washes in between with either the spray wax or the quick detailer. Or, since everybody's in the mood to stack here lately, you might as well do the seal and shine, the spray wax, and then the quick detailer. That will easily get you through those harsh winter months. Next question, Eric McPhillips has a 2016 Subaru Legacy. He's tried Chemical Guys Jet Seal, he's tried Jescar, he's tried Collinite, and he's not satisfied with the beading or sheeting. Any ideas? So if you're not satisfied with those, there are 2 that I could recommend, and I'm not sure if you're looking for beading or sheeting, so I grabbed 2 that I would recommend for both. When it comes to beading, it would be the Extreme Solutions Poly Seal. This can be applied and used many ways. It can be diluted. You could spray it on after the car is wet after a fresh wash and dry it. Use it as a drying aid. You can apply it with a damp towel to a dry car, and that'll give you plenty of beading. It'll last through the winter months and get you through a harsh winter. When it comes to sheeting, this is one I would recommend for that. That's the Class High Gloss Sealant and Glaze. You could put that on, apply it by hand or machine, and both of these are fantastic, by the way. Bob Del Cielo is working on a 2018 Jeep Compass, and he's about to apply the Collinite liquid insulator wax over the Jescar Power Lock. He hasn't seen me do a video on it. He wants to know my opinion on the matter. I don't do a video on it because it's a popular combination, a popular team, and there's tons of video on it. It does, together they are fantastic, and I can see the attraction. I, however, love the Jescar Power Lock by itself. I enjoy the characteristics that it gives, and I would never think of hiding it with an insulator wax. The insulator wax, to me, sweats sometimes in my environment, which is very humid here. Makes it a little bit difficult to work with. Not worth the extra effort, but that's just to me. It's just a personal opinion. Go with it and try it. If you enjoy it, stick with it. Yeah, I'm behind you 100%, but to me, I love the Jescar Power Lock, or the Menzerna Power Lock. I love it on its own, and I won't hide that characteristic with an insulator wax. Next, Barry Bujanowski is torn between when to use the washless or the rinseless wash method and a complete contact wash. And he does the 2-bucket with foam cannon, so he's practicing safe wash technique. When it comes to a quick rinseless, he'll use a quick detailer or O&R. When I do both, and for me, if a car comes in, and I do have the talk with my customers to get them cleaned up before they come in. Sounds a little odd from a detailer, yeah, but I have a very clean environment here, almost surgically clean, and I don't want a mud-crusted car coming in. So we have the conversation that the customer has it clean. And so for the most part, a lot of them do come in clean, where I just do a rinseless wash to get them ready, to prepare them to start, to correct them and protect them, which is what I do here. On the odd occasion, we get some cruddy machines that come in where I have to do a contact wash. So if it's not bad, if it's just dusty, very light contamination, go ahead and do your rinseless wash method. And then if you really, it rains 5-6 days in a row, and you know how bad the roads get, and the splash up from the roadways, and if you have to go through mud, and if you get a lot of stuff that's contaminated to the body, then go ahead and do a contact wash and clay. So that's when I do it. Just a light, dusty, lightly soiled car, I'll go ahead and do the rinseless wash method. Okay, next, Bean Time S550 wants to know some of the easiest coatings to use. The only coatings that are difficult are some of the professional coatings where you have to be certified to use anyways, but I'll list a couple that are real easy to use. Number one will be G-Technique. It's very easy to use, very user-friendly. Kamikaze, Miyabi, and ISM are very easy to use. IGL, not all of them are available, but I believe the Poly and Quartz are, off the bat anyways. Jade has some easy... Anything that you can order that's retail is rather easy to use, where you can do a panel or a panel or two at a time before you have to go back and start to wipe off that transfer solution before it starts to get too tacky. So those are my 4 right off the top of my head. Okay, Howard Lee got rid of some light swirls with Sonak's Perfect Finish and then applied Wolfgang's Deep Gloss Sealant. He wants to get rid of that then and apply Tack Moonlight. I'm not sure how long ago, was this something you just did? If it's something you just did, it's just going to take a light polish to remove the Deep Gloss Sealant. It's not going to take a whole lot. Just a very fine abrasive. Pretty much the same thing you use to get rid of those light imperfections. The Sonak's Perfect Finish will work fine for that. Just use a very soft foam pad, something just above the application pad, which is normally the black pad in a lot of foam pad lines. But then you can go ahead and apply the Moonlight and you'll be absolutely good to go. Okay, Riley Schickler has a great question here. How do I deal with a high spot after applying a ceramic coating after almost a day has gone by, not fully cured? There are 2 things I would try first. Always just trying to remove it with the same type of microfiber you used to remove the transfer solution before. If that doesn't work, get the same coating you used and apply it again in that area. A lot of times that activates the high spot enough, or it activates it and softens it up and breaks it down enough that you can actually remove that. Depends on how long that's been on there, how fast it's starting to cure on you. If that doesn't work, then you have one more little step to take, and that's just polishing it off. It would only take, if it's not fully cured, it hasn't been 24 hours, a very light polish will remove that for you, sometimes even by hand. Okay, Tom Solitz wants to know why more people aren't using dedicated carpet cleaners, especially in YouTube videos, I guess. Like there's Bissell or there's Resolve dedicated carpet spot removers. He sees a lot of people just using APCs and multi-purpose cleaners, and that's a good question. I have them. I have them in stock here. I just find myself after using them not reaching for them again because they're just average or not very effective. You won't see me using a ton of APCs when it comes to carpeting and upholstery because of the residue that can be left behind. In the mixture that I put together, it's just sometimes just a little bit of an APC I'll put in there to help with some types of stains that need that breakdown. If you have a residue if you're using something and it leaves a residue, just follow up with a little bit of peroxide and that neutralizes it. It'll be nice and subtle once it dries. It'll be fluffy. It won't be stiff and jagged. Okay, Jake Lauman has two good questions. The first one is, I was wondering what your opinion was about glazes and should they be added to a detailer's arsenal. Absolutely. Glazes are great for clear coats that are just too thin to do anything with. Anything with fillers seems to be taboo, but I tell you, having something with a filler is sometimes useful when you get a daily driver or a beater where turnaround just really isn't possible and the customer's expectations can't be adjusted to match the clear of his vehicle. So a glaze can be used to help a little bit of those imperfections go away for a little while. It's a good way to hide some things where the clear is just too thin. It's not a good idea to just keep shaving and shaving and shaving clear, and I'm trying to get that through to you guys every video that I do. So if it takes a glaze to get rid of what you're trying to get rid of without shaving the clear any further, then go with it. And then the second question, how should one approach cleaning, protecting wood on an older truck bed? It's been stained, but it's fading. There are a lot of, IGL has a wood coating. There are a lot of coatings out there that will condition and make that substrate look darker and richer just by applying it. So look into that, IGL wood. Next, Tom wants to know how I became authorized to apply all the coatings. This is just a small example of them. I'm certified to install quite a few. And that's because I just want to be prepared when a customer walks in the door, period. I also love to learn about the products in my industry, especially protection and coating. It's what I do on a daily basis. So I want to be prepared when that customer walks in the door and has something in mind they want to apply to their car. And I can say, I have it. I have it in stock, no problem, let's get this scheduled. A lot of the customers come in, they have no idea what the coatings are until I break it down to them, and then I'll have one that I can recommend depending on what they're looking for. Being tied to just one product line when it comes to anything, especially a coating, I think is an absolute huge mistake, and one I will not go down. So yeah, just out of curiosity, wanting to learn about the protection in my industry and being prepared for the customer that walks in the door because they are number one. That's going to do it for today's mail call. A ton of awesome questions. I'm preparing to get the next one out to you. There's so many to answer, and keep them coming in. I will supply the email link down below in the comment section and the description box so you can keep sending them in. You guys are the best. Catch you in the next video. And if you are enjoying the content from the channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, share the material, hit that notification bell. That will let you know when we have new content available.